Hello again, short story writers and writers of short fiction, and I suppose fiction writing inspiration seekers. Hi, today's topic is from the news, and it's kind of old news and yet new news. For some people, pretty scary news, and maybe for others, hooray, we're here. And that's the release and declassification of I'm going to just call them UFO tapes that the US military and or Pentagon, if it were England, we'd just say the Department of Defense, but or Ministry of Defense, sorry, not Department, Ministry of Defense. But yeah, so there was kind of, I don't know, infrared or night footage or something of this capsule shape which was being tracked by a fighter pilot, and it performed some pretty amazing maneuvers. And technically they're gravity defying. I think I read that they defy Newtonian laws as we know them, so that's kind of interesting in itself. And I'm not sure why they've been declassified at the moment, at this time, but they have. So it raises a lot of interesting questions, and if your mind is already racing about what you can write about, that's fine. But if not, if you're thinking, well, yeah, but how can I write a story about that, particularly for literary fiction? Okay, so UFOs have not just this whole kind of first contact meaning to them. There are people who claim to have been abducted by aliens and or have seen a UFO. So for a literary point of view, you can play what if. Supposing someone in your family, your protagonist's family, or your protagonist had a close encounter and were not believed. And now, in light of this, suddenly they were credible. What would the family reaction be like? What would your protagonists be like to the, up until now, crazy uncle or crazy cousin who were making all kinds of allegations? And what would their reaction be? So there's material for that kind of thing. What about a close encounter forming the object of this story? I mean, there's no reason why it couldn't be literary fiction. It could be treated seriously as a very human sort of drama. A being from another planet somewhere comes, and maybe it requires help. And like in The Day the Earth Stood Still, it requires assistance and is being hunted by the authorities. Okay, comedy. Well, comedy of errors being done a couple of times in a couple of movies. Romance. I'm sure there's room there for kind of an interspecies romance that again has been tackled a couple of times, particularly in Star Trek. Sci-fi, fantasy, surreal, and horror. Take your pick. Yeah, it turns out they were right all along. There's a whole breaking into Roswell thing. Maybe other countries have got their own equivalents of Roswell, and they just better at keeping it a secret or something. I don't know. But your heroes stumble upon it with not so good results. Crime, mystery. Somebody is prepared to go to any lengths to conceal the truth, which is perhaps that there's an industrial complex which is trying to manufacture these things and sell it to the highest bidder, and they're doing it from somewhere which is outside of international law and international waters. Or biographical. You could write the biography of a UFO hunter. Jury. Defamation of character. Somebody now feels vindicated and they take someone to court for ruining their life, for calling them a quack, and the jury has to weigh up all the evidence and the story which you, as the story writer, will have fabricated in advance. Okay, ooh, 5 minutes and 5 seconds. We're doing okay. Right. I'd love to know if you're watching this and you get around to writing a story and you post it somewhere. Let me know in the comments and just say, I did it, I wrote one. Or I found it useful, if you find it useful, for the likes of, I don't know, NaNoWriMo. Okay, till tomorrow. Bye-bye.